So, going on to the Marvel side of what would they listen to, I'm talking about the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So, like I said before, I won't talk about every single Avenger. I'll save a lot of them, including a lot of the Marvel characters on a whole. I'll talk about the core members of the Avengers, and I'll move on to, and maybe talk about some other Avengers that I can throw in, depending on, time and all that. Well, not so much time, so much it is, so much as it is, I'd like to keep this segment going, and when I revisit the Avengers, I'll have some more Avengers to talk about. So that's the better explanation right there. So let's kick things off with, of course, the leader, Captain America. Now, Captain America, since he was frozen in an iceberg for, many, many years, I can see Captain America still being a fan of, like, those 40s music, a lot of 40s music, like, of course, barbershop and doo-wop and ragtime music there in that time period. But however, I could see him also enjoying some. I couldn't see him enjoying some Presley, or even I could even peg Captain America listening to some Beatles. Like, I could see Tony handing him some music and be like, "Here, I think you might like these guys." And I could actually see Steve enjoying some Beatles. I could see Captain America being a fan of the Fab Four. That's just me. Anyway. Yeah, so let's move on to Tony. Now, this is going to sound like I'm ripping off the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but no, this fits Tony Stark pretty well. I completely believe that Tony would be listening to, like, AC/DC a lot. He would also be he would be that narcissistic to put Black Sabbath's Iron Man in his playlist just for himself. In fact, there was an Avengers comic I read once where they all switched bodies, and I can't remember who got whose body, but the person who I think was Luke Cage, and this was in the Marvel Adventures comics. Let me say that right now. This wasn't in the main 616. This was the Marvel Adventures Avengers. So, what happened was that they all switched bodies, and Tony got. Luke Cage got into Tony's body, and he accidentally clicked on some music on his audio, and it started playing Black Sabbath's Iron Man. So yeah, that just kind of proves that Tony would be that kind of narcissistic, and I'm sorry for that little rant, that little spat right there. So, among other things with AC/DC, Black Sabbath, I could see some Maiden in there. I could see some Guns N' Roses. I could see. Among other things, I could see Tony being a lot of hard rock stuff. A lot of hard rock music is more what I'm trying to get at. That's the main key we're looking at right here. Now, for Thor is mostly Nordic music. I could see, because he lives in Asgard, so a lot of Nordic music. But however, I could see Thor appreciating and actually maybe even enjoying some, Nordic metal or symphonic metal. I could see, like, oh, they're a lot like, a lot of the, songs of Asgard, because a lot of Nordic metal, just like with Nordic music, was songs about telling stories and about, these great journeys and monsters and, heroes battling and great stories, more or less. And that's what a lot of music of, Nordic metal and symphonic metal and even pagan metal does. So I could see Thor enjoying that. There are even metal songs about Thor, so I think he would be like, these mortals doth prove they rock hard, or fuck, I don't know. So that's the quick answer for Thor. So let's move on to Hawkeye. Hawkeye, Foo Fighters fan. First and foremost, he looks like a straight up Foo Fighters fan through and through. I could even see him listening to Breaking Benjamin. I could see Clint listening, like I said, Breaking Benjamin, the Goo Goo Dolls. He looks like a Goo Goo Dolls fan. The Goo Goo Dolls, I could also see him also enjoying what was it? My Chemical Romance. I don't know. Like Clint just pegs me as a My Chemical Romance fan for the most part. I can also see him enjoy. Well, I think he would enjoy a lot of the other stuff like Blink 182. He also looks like he would enjoy 30. I think Clint would also enjoy 30 Seconds to Mars. So that's just a little bit for Hawkeye. So moving on to the Hulk. Let's talk about the Hulk. The Hulk is a tough one because normally you'd think, oh, he'd listen to hard rock and heavy metal, to get himself pumped. I think it's just the opposite. I think the Hulk would listen to music that would calm him down because that's the last thing you would need. An enormous green rage monster listening to something that's more or less screaming, punch this guy in the face really hard when it comes down to it in a lot of songs. So I think what it would be is that I think Hulk would enjoy listening to a lot of classical music, sitting down and just enjoying the music, just liking it. Again, it kind of varies on which Hulk we're talking about here, because again, Hulk's intelligence kind of varies depending on the circumstances, according to Banner in the Indestructible Hulk comics. So moving on to Hank Pym, Ant-Man. So let's talk about Ant-Man real quick. Ant-Man looks like he would enjoy a lot of 80s music, like Depeche Mode, and I could see Blinded Me with Science on there. Hank's that narcissistic to put She Blinded Me with Science on his playlist. Don't deny it. I just think he would have that. Like, he would just come into, like, Tony would be walking into Hank's lab, and then he'd just hear, Science! That's what I think. Among other things, I could see, like, again, Depeche Mode, the Flock of Seagulls. I could even see, what was the name? What was another band that I had that fit Hank really well? That fit Hank Pym pretty well. Ah, damn it, I can't remember. Sorry, guys. But yeah, let's talk about Wasp. Wasp, depending on her age, looks like she would be a Katy Perry fan. She also looks like she would enjoy a lot of pop music, and she looks like she would enjoy a lot of pop music. Wasp, depending on how young the Wasp's age is. She always likes to update herself too. That's the thing as well, is that the Wasp likes to stay current for the most part. The Wasp enjoys being current with a lot of current stuff, so she would try her best to get into current music and still feel kind of relevant. That was kind of a lot of the Wasp's shtick, was that she always kept up with a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's just a little bit for the Wasp. Let's go into some other Avengers real quick. Now that I've kind of talked about the core. Well, actually no, still got to talk about Black Widow. Black Widow looks like a smooth jazz type character. I see her listening to some smooth jazz, and maybe even some Tattoo. That's a Russian pop group. So, not because she's Russian, but she also looks like she would enjoy some. I don't think she would be the biggest Tattoo fan, but there are some songs I could see her enjoying. And plus, if you've ever seen the YouTuber Tala Silver, she has a video where she's in the Black Widow costume. She's dancing to it. So that was a thing. So I just had it burned in my head, and I couldn't help but bring that up. So, anyway, let's go into a few other Avengers. Starting with Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers, straight up a Stevie Nicks fan. I could see her listening to, what's that the name of her most popular song? Just like the White Winged Dove. I know that's not the song, but that's not the song title. But that's the best lyric I can think of. I could see her enjoying that, listening to that song while she's flying a plane or flying into the sky with her powers. So yeah, Stevie Nicks fan, straight on. I could even see her enjoying some Sheryl Crow. Excuse me. I could even see Carol enjoying some Beatles as well. I could see her being a Beatles fan. I could even see her being a fan of what was it? Damn, you see, a lot of this comes on the fly, guys, so I do apologize, because I usually have it in my head, and then I just get sidetracked, and then I just forget it. That's my curse of my brain! Anyway, but Stevie Nicks, Beatles, and I would even say some Jimi Hendrix and some Janis Joplin would be in Carol's playlist. That would be the most part, because she looks like she's a very free spirit music. She's a very free. Again, I can't talk today. Carol is a very free spirited person, so it would make a lot of sense that a lot of her music would be very free spirited. So that would kind of imply with Beatles and all of that. And yeah, there you go for Carol Danvers. Vision, I don't think Vision would enjoy a lot of music, although I do have this funny thought in my head that I think Vision would enjoy some Daft Punk. I think Vision might enjoy Daft Punk. Like, he would just listen to it and be like, I could recreate this music. But again, Vision isn't a music person, but for shits and giggles, I'd say he'd listen to some Daft Punk. That'd also be something Hawkeye, I think, would listen to, is a lot of Daft Punk as well. Wanda was a really tough one, so I'm going to save her for later until I can think a little harder on that one. So yeah, I'm going to skip Scarlet Witch. And I don't want to do any others like Spider-Man and a few others, because I might do those later on. I'll probably do those later on down the road. So yeah. So I just included Vision and Captain Marvel in there. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much all the Avengers I'm going to do for this one. But yeah, you guys tell me, what music do you think the Avengers would listen to? You know, what each character do you think would be in if you look at each character, what music do you think would be on their playlists? Let me know below. And yeah, once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment. And yeah, I'm out.